Good evening to one and all watching. Again, it's me hosting the preview for Real Madrid's away La Liga match against Rayo Vallecano. I have Kanish here by my side, no Sunid and no Farid today. For those who were hoping to watch or rather hear one of their voices. But yeah, you'll just have to bear the two of us talking about a La Liga fixture coming, off the back of an extremely dull performance in the Champions League against Liverpool. Um, well, that was honestly a game that a lot of Madridistas had been, waiting for, mostly because of Liverpool's poor form this season, and also just our past record and at Anfield. Unfortunately, that result didn't go our way, and now we're back to domestic proceedings. Um, Rayo Vallecano is just a side that has done well in restricting um, the impetus of sides like Barcelona and Real Madrid, in recent history. But we'll get into more of that. Kanishk, if you can tell us a little bit about your overall watching experience for the game at Anfield. I know
Yeah,
you're not too keen to talk about that, but we will have to touch upon it.
man. Horrible, man. Horrible. I think, I was very confident in the preview to the Liverpool game with Farouk, as I mostly am kind of
Yep.
optimistic about some results, and I've gotten it right so far in pretty much every match, but I think I was horribly wrong in kind of underestimating Liverpool, but I did say that at Anfield, just the atmosphere, man, it's relentless. It no matter what you say, it's one of the toughest. I think top three toughest places to go and play football, no matter which team you are. I don't think we took Liverpool lightly. I just think Liverpool started the game with fantastic intensity and pace. They've been a shadow of their past self this season. Let's make no doubt about it. And it's still going to be a very tough season for them.
Yep.
But the fact that they can come out like that in front of their home crowd, just to giving them something to cheer about, giving them something to be ferocious about. I think they were ferocious, if I have to use a word to describe their performance. They were hungry, man. They looked hungry for a win, and they're in bad form right now. They're in bad attacking form right now. But even and so, if they were in a good form, or rather, if they were in good form, they could have easily scored 3, 4 past us. But Courtois, man, I mean, I don't know what to say about that guy. He saved us on so many occasions. That's literally saving a team from embarrassment. It could have been a 4-0 or a 5-0, because
Easily, yeah.
we did not look like scoring at any given point in the game. One Mbappe chance where I think he kind of side-footed the ball. I think his momentum took him a bit away from the goal, so I think he side-footed the ball slightly further. Apart from that, I don't remember any chance. I think one chance Mbappe got, but that was also like outside the box, and he kind of skied it in the early minutes of the game. But
Yep.
barring that, it was horrendous. I think one of the worst Real Madrid performances as a team. Look, you win some, you lose some. Even the Atletico game,
No, absolutely, yeah.
I was not so disappointed about it, because we were leading the game at a point
At
in
one
time,
stage,
and
yes.
you cannot do much about an Alvarez free kick, or just for that matter, the Declan Rice free kicks, because they're not going to happen each and every time. And Madrid
Yeah.
were scoring goals, and they were looking lethal. They were at least fighting, but I think just this game, Carreras and Courtois, I don't think apart from that anybody showed up, and I think this has started to become a recurring problem with big matches where we play away from home.
Yeah.
2 big away matches this season and 2 absolute embarrassing defeats. I mean, I'm not looking at it from a 1-0 defeat. Okay, fine. If you look at it on paper,
Yeah.
1-0 defeat to Liverpool, most teams will be like,
Not the
okay,
end of the world, right? It's just
yeah,
the way we
stay Champions
we
League.
went down. Yes.
We will
If
won the
we don't
game.
go down without with a fight.
Yeah, but yeah,
Um,
this is not what you expect from Madrid. But even in the Atletico match, the boys did show a fight. I mean, like, you did score 2 goals,
mm,
right? Two were,
yeah.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but those two were from open play. So you did create a chance, and then you ended up scoring a goal. I don't know. I may be wrong here, but just the fact, Sahil, that we just did not show up. We did not have any intensity, man. I think Liverpool was just hungrier, much hungrier to
Yeah.
perform on the pitch. Vinicius, man, I think that's got to be his worst performance in a Real Madrid shirt till date. You know,
Yeah. Dull and soulless were some of the words that Marca used when
yeah, got absolutely pocketed by Conor
yeah.
Bradley. And with
Mm,
all due respect to Conor Bradley, you don't term him as one of the world's best right backs, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this was against Trent, if he was not at Madrid, or if this was against a Walker or like a Trippier, because we've seen him go up against the world's best right backs in when we played against Man City, Chelsea, PSG, and all that, and he did come up good. I remember him kind of faking the ball, making a fake turn, and then going on to score that incredible solo goal against
Mm.
Man City. So he can play on that wing. He is amazing on that wing. I just don't know. There's something clearly wrong with his technique this season, or just something. It's very predictable to kind of stop him. But yeah, man. Overall, bad. I think most players looked out of place. Most players looked just clueless on the pitch for 90
Yeah.
minutes. And with Real Madrid, you've come to develop a habit that you think, okay, no matter how bad the game is, maybe just maybe we can kind of scrap like a last
Yeah,
minute.
you muster up a last 5 minutes of good football, and
Yeah,
you
not
get a result out of it.
did
But
not
that
look
doesn't always happen, right, Kanishk?
just did not look like. I don't know
Yeah,
why he brought Trent on at that point in time. Maybe just kind of
yeah.
take the Liverpool players also. Oh my God, Trent is
Mm.
back. What is he gonna do? But it was a very predictable move. I don't think there was any need to
And
create.
no, I think it was more to give Trent minutes at a stadium which is so special for him, rather than just
You don't do that when
strategic.
you 1-0. Do that
The,
when you
the,
win.
no, I get that, but I don't think we were showing any fight in that game at that point. And I don't think Trent was going to make a difference, much of a difference anyway, because it's not like we have box presence, to cater for his style of play.
Maybe
But
like
yeah, I completely agree with you.
a Gonzalo Garcia kind of a player could have
Mm,
maybe made a bit of a difference. At least he's in the box. He's always trying to win the headers. Look, I'm not
yeah,
gonna say okay, it's time to bring a striker. Okay, change everything. It's been working for
no,
us.
yeah,
Still a bump in the road. I would still like to believe it. It's still a bump in the road.
yeah,
Maybe if you play Liverpool 5 times at Anfield this season, maybe 3 times Real Madrid do emerge victorious just because of the quality. But I just think a very very off game. I think Bellingham was good. He was good in the
okay.
midfield. He was at least trying, man. He was trying. I mean, like at this point, if your good is equal to you trying to win the ball and do something for your team, I think yes, he did have a good game, but I don't think anyone was above a 5 on 10, apart from
Mm.
Carreras and
And
Courtois.
Courtois, yeah. No,
Exactly.
absolutely. And several of the Liverpool players even went over to Courtois, and they were having a chat. And I think Virgil van Dijk, it was that reminisced of the Champions League final in Paris a couple years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
But that performance was exemplary. But yeah, like some of the performances just were dull and soulless. I don't disagree with that. Even having watched just the highlights. Um, and this is a Xabi Alonso side that almost seems at times too structured and too rigid. It's still visions of what Carlo Ancelotti's side was, but with a lot of restriction. And I think that's what most fans right now will complain about, because I think the sentiment growing within the fan base at the moment is not a concern about
Yeah.
the present, because at the moment it's okay to lose the odd big game, because there's no imminent repercussions of this. But come the end of the season, when the big crunch away fixtures come through, and those are the games that win that mean the difference between a semi-final spot and going back home, trophyless, or just or a game that decides the La Liga title. That's when it'll hurt most, and I think that's what Real Madrid fans right now are worried about, because this is a team that is continuously barraging through all of the other sides that it plays home and away. It's just in these big games that we continue to falter and not show up. It's not like we're trying and we're or the end product's not there, or there's a functional issue in the team where you see one game where we have a 10, and there's not enough defensive cover. There's no functional issues that you can pick out as such key. There's one thing that needs to be fixed. It's just a lack of big game morale, or I don't know what I should say, but that is a big major difference that people, even myself, have noticed between Carlo Ancelotti's style and Xabi Alonso's, the beginning of Xabi Alonso's era. But I'm sure that we'll see that change. And we have Ashik in the comments saying that He's now deleted that comment. No, he's okay. It's back. I'm not sure if the team will be ready after traveling such a long distance from Kharmatin to uh, to Vallecas. I mean, it's just how many kilometers is it across the capital city?
40 minutes.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, Vallecas is a stadium rather which has troubled the big sides, and I mentioned this earlier. Last year in this exact same fixture, there was a 3-3 draw. It was extremely thrilling. I think we came back from behind. It was EC Palason, I think, who scored for Rayo Vallecano. And then of course the reverse fixture we did win in March this year.
Even
I think
Mbappe.
it was a 2-1 victory.
Yeah.
But things look much different right now, for us than last season. We weren't in control of La Liga last
Yeah.
year, and I think despite our recent form, just this last game, I think our recent form, 10 victories out of the last 11, pretty much sums it up that we
Kind of
have been
hurts more
dominating La
maybe
Liga.
I mean, yeah, look, the Barcelona game was a huge positive for us. I
Yeah,
think we were very good in that game. And I honestly felt after that match, it's going to be a good turnaround for at least till the winter break, where, that one, and I mentioned this in the
yeah,
preview with Farouk, that, some matches don't necessarily are always for points or places, but they kind of, help you build momentum into the season. A Barcelona victory early on is one of those matches. A key Liverpool victory early on, because we saw last year when we lost at Anfield. I mean, last year we were not this clueless. We were just not a good side. After that match, we kind of started dwindling down into the AC Milan match and things like that. So these games
mm,
kind of, if you win it, give you a lot of confidence and they kind of
yeah.
help you build. But I mean,
But
I
there's
mean,
still plenty to look forward to, right, Kanishk? Like, Kylian
yeah,
Mbappe's form has been incredible, and nobody can deny that he has been scoring goals at a rate which he's not
game
scored before, right?
during the
Uh,
that that game during the week.
uh, our midfield has been functioning pretty well with Arda and Jude Bellingham in the same team, and nobody can take that away from this Real Madrid team. That it has done several good things, and it continues to the numbers continue to speak for what has been fixed, but there's
Yeah.
still so much work to do for Xabi Alonso. And the injuries don't help, Kanishk. Like, we lost Aurelien Tchouameni this week. Dani Carvajal is already out. Rudiger is already out. David Alaba is, I think, also injured. Mastan Tuono has suffered a pubic problem apparently.
Uh,
Um,
Sports hernia. I think he should be fine.
yeah, and Trent Alexander-Arnold came back against Liverpool. I don't know how likely he is to start this game. But these defensive injuries don't really, push our claim on dominating all these games on a consistent basis, because you always have something in the back of your mind. Okay, if we had a full strength squad, or even a full strength defense, we would have
Mhm.
done a much better job, say at Atleti away.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think injuries don't help, but this is the reason why you have a 20-member squad, right?
Yeah,
Players need to be ready to perform. I mean, it's high time. I think Trent, he's back from injury. He's fit. I mean, though he played on Tuesday, so I'm assuming he's absolutely fit. So he has to find some game to kind of find his best form. I mean, you can't
mm,
just wait with hands on hands and trying to like wait for a player to find their best form. The best way to find form is to play football. So I think, I mean, yeah, I mean, look, it's a definitely an easier challenge than Liverpool, Rayo Vallecano. So I
yeah,
think, I mean, the team should, at least try to use this game as a comeback mechanism, just to kind of wash away the defeat. I know it makes no difference to the Champions League or the La Liga, but
absolutely.
just a game for the players to
Some
find their
morale,
head,
some continuity. Yeah,
especially for players who've not been performing the past 3-4 matches. Vinicius,
yeah.
even Rodrigo looked very out of touch.
Yeah, just on that, Kanishk, and also the fact that you mentioned squad depth just now. When is that game going where he's actually going to field a bunch of players that haven't been playing as of late, right? Because you don't see much game time for the likes of Rodrigo, for the likes of Endrick, who's now
No, look,
preferring to go out on loan.
a very essential job is to keep players fit, not
Yeah,
just physically, but also match fit.
yeah,
And I know you can only play 11 players, and if your players are performing, why would you want to bench them? But
yeah,
just for these kind of stretches, where you get a few games where a few players are out, not necessarily due to very serious injuries, but
Mm.
just injuries, or minor few issues like he's got a sports hernia or something like that can happen. I think a good bench is like a good insurance policy where you
Yeah.
know that you are covered regardless of what's happening. I don't see that. You look at Hendrick's face when the camera was panning, he just looked bored, man. And this is the same Hendrick who brought so much enthusiasm and joy and so much energy on the pitch. He just looks bored and out of place, and he's like, oh my god, when am I ever going to get a chance to play for Real Madrid? He did play a few minutes the match before against Valencia, but I mean, come on, you have to give some players a decent. I mean, at this point, if I'm the coach of Real Madrid, I'm benching Vinicius and I'm starting Rodrigo. I don't care,
Yeah.
man. Like
That's
in a
bold, but that's you have to eventually, right?
you have to take that. I mean, he's letting the team down with his easy giveaways. I think more than Vinicius, I think Huijsen had a horrible game. I mean, I can remember at least 10 or 15 passes where he just gave away the ball in midfield, or when he was trying to drive the ball. But
Mm.
I would not be so harsh with Huijsen because he's overall been a solid 8 on 10 this season. So he can have a bad game.
But you can't say the same about Vinicius.
Absolutely not. He's had consistent 4 on 10, 5 on 10 performances for the past 5, 6 matches. Okay, he missed the penalty a couple of matches back against Valencia. I mean, Mbappe it was very gracious of
Yeah.
him.
Not
You
that
know,
it mattered, but yes.
I mean, yeah, but like still, it's very
It's not
graceful
a
of
good
him.
look, yes. It's not a good look on his confidence
On
right
a hat
now.
trick. And he's on a hat trick. He could have easily taken that, scored a goal. He's a goal
Yeah.
scorer. That's his job.
Mm.
A very graceful team member. Okay, maybe my team member is not in form right now. Let me give him the ball. I mean, we've seen Ronaldo do that with Benzema. We've seen Ronaldo do that with Bale. We've seen Messi do that with his compatriots as well. That's what leaders do, And I think that was a very strong leadership principle that Mbappe kind of displayed. That it's not just you who's scoring the goals; it's your teammates also who need to step up and gain confidence. And it was like a bad penalty. I've not. I mean, I think there's something just very wrong with his mentality right now. This is not the same Vinicius that you see. He's not. He's just not the same anymore. I feel, and it's
Also,
been enough.
Kanishk, I do agree.
Hmm.
And a lot of fans have pointed out the fact that he has performed this season in bursts, and those have been when he's been benched for a couple of games, and then Xabi Alonso starts him for a game, or he brings him off the bench for the last
Yeah,
30 minutes, and that's when you see him turn on his afterburners, and he looks like the Vinicius of old.
yeah.
But my question to that is, how many times can you do that? Do you just keep recycling the same
Big players.
strategy,
If
right?
Vinicius,
Because eventually he has to start a string of games, and eventually he has to perform for a string of games.
when you want to be considered among the great players, the Ronaldos, the Messis, the Benzemas, the Bales, the name. I mean, okay, maybe not Neymar, but like the Rooneys and everyone. I mean, they also had bad games, but they never performed in bursts. They had at least some sort of consistency in their
Consistency,
performance.
yes.
I mean, it's okay. We don't expect Vinicius to score a goal every match. We understand
No,
that.
that's the whole that's a big question that he has. The likes of Neymar, Messi in their time had a big responsibility to carry the goal scoring burden of
He
their sides.
doesn't
Vinny
have
doesn't have that right now because Mbappe is in the form of his life.
has stepped up. Bellingham has stepped up the past 3, 4
Yes,
matches.
yes.
He looks like he's playing that shadow striker role to perfection. He's winning the
Mm.
ball. All Vinicius has to do is play his natural game, which is dominating the left flank with his trickery. He can slow the pace down, let players come in the box, cut inside, take shots, get deflections, and things like that. He's that kind of a player. But I think he's just very confused in the head right now. That do
Mm.
I go ahead and be the goal scorer? Should I go ahead and just be the assist provider? Because he's not a playmaker, right? He cannot create plays. He can just give one key pass. I mean, the Barcelona pass for the second goal where he just lofted the ball up high. I mean, let's be very honest. It was a miss hit. It was not a calculated lob high into the opposition box. I mean, it came out good as
Yeah,
a goal. That's a separate story. But you've just not seen him like how he was during with Benzema in that
yeah.
21 season where he was dominating. He was there in tandem, and these two have clicked. Vinicius and Mbappe have clicked together. We've seen that,
In
but
moments,
just
yes.
moments. But and of course, it will take time. But Vinicius needs to probably clarify in his head what sort of a player he wants to be. Because he's not getting 40 goals a season. We cannot rely on him to get 40 goals a season. He's
Yeah.
shown that very early in his life. At max, he's going to score 20, 25 goals a season. So, I mean, he should do what he does best. I think
But he
Look,
has that certain match-winning ability in him that we
but
are
you
lacking
can't
at the moment.
say someone. You can't have a 5 on 10 performance in 40 matches of the season and then have maybe a 6 or a
Yeah,
7 out of 10 in 5 matches. I mean, you cannot
yeah,
take that as a team. That's you're not going to win. Okay, you're going to maybe win matches, but you're not going to win tournaments. You're
yeah.
not going to win championships because of that. And sooner or later, Mbappe will feel the burden of scoring the goals because even in PSG, he was not the only goal scorer. He had Neymar with him in his early days. He had Cavani with him for a
Cavani.
very long time. He had
And the
Messi.
midfielders at PSG actually got a bunch of goals themselves. Marquinhos, I remember, used to get a
Marquinhos,
handy 7 goals every season. The Ferrati as well.
Verratti, Vitinha, players like that, they did also contribute with the goals. And I think even like the year before this 23-24 when Jude Bellingham arrived, I think he supported the goal scoring very well. After Benzema left, he kind of stepped up. So I think it was a bit light, on all the other players, and then Ancelotti kind of find a way to play him. Joselu contributed with goals. Cruz,
Yeah.
Modric have always contributed with goals in a season. They're at least getting 5 or 7 goals a season. So Vinicius needs to really step up, or maybe he should understand that if he gets benched, or if he is not the number one on the
Then
wing
that's
on
for the
the,
best.
he has to be okay with that. I mean, and of course, if he tries to be difficult about it, at some point Madrid will have to take a very tough call, which I hope it does not come to that. But like,
No, there have already been conversations this week, Kanishk, about
yeah,
his future being up in the air, and there's just already pictures of him in an Al Nassr shirt,
high time,
which
man. It's high time he
yeah,
steps up. If he wants to be
yeah.
the franchise player, he has to play like a franchise player.
No,
You know,
I couldn't agree more. And speaking of a mixed campaign or just a stop-start campaign, I think Rayo Vallecano is also another team that has had incredibly stop-start campaign. They did have they did have an okay start. They won 3-1 away to Girona at the beginning, and then I think they went 6 or 7 games without winning a single game. They had a tough run of games: Athletic Bilbao, Osasuna, Atletico Madrid, Sevilla. I think they also played Barcelona and Celta Vigo after that stretch. Um, but now, I mean, they had successive wins against Sociedad, Levante, also a 1-0 victory, I think, over Alaves very recently. So Rayo Vallecano has sort of come back into their stride.
perfectly
And
placed at number
yeah,
10 in the table.
yeah. So, I mean, I think this most recent game was against Villarreal, but and it wasn't a very good game. Okay, I think they lost 3 or 4 nil, if I can remember right. But this is a team that Barcelona will be hoping. That's the game that Real Madrid might lose because we haven't shown signs or too many signs of being of being lethargic or just it's not like we got caught out too many times by teams like Rayo Vallecano this season. But this is a game where they might actually catch us out. Um, so it's a very tricky encounter. I feel it's also not in the right sort of moment for us as a team because
Mhm.
we have been suffering with our like just this last game wasn't that good, but overall we've been okay or we've been good. So it's kind of mixed feelings about that as well. But yeah, I'm just gonna go to some of the comments for now. Um, right. Vinny has an ego. Become a spoiled brat. I want the
No, we
old
should
Vinny, humble, just loved
every
playing
person,
football.
every person should have an ego. Having an ego is not a bad thing. Just knowing when to use it to your advantage, you know, is the thing that most people don't learn for a very long time, or maybe a lot of sports people. Because at home, Vinicius is a very different player. At
Hmm.
home you see him interact with the crowd's cheering him on. Cheering him on. If a ball goes out of play, he'll kind of pump the crowd up. So he has these theatrics, but I mean, without an output, your theatrics mean nothing. And we've seen this
Yeah.
time and again with the biggest of the stars in the world. A Ronaldo and a Messi could do all that because they were backing it up with goals and performances. I mean, we are just asking him to do what he does, and it's just becoming a very difficult watch. I mean, I just cannot imagine him being pocketed by Conor Bradley like that. And full kudos to Conor Bradley. He identified the gap there, and he was on him like a pest. 90 minutes,
Yeah.
resilient as ever. And of course, he's playing at Anfield, and if I'm not wrong, he's a Liverpool boy himself.
A local lad, yes.
A local lad, a Liverpool lad, and with the crowd backing you against the biggest club in the world, and you're replacing one of Liverpool's favorite sons in that position. So he had everything going for him, man. But nope, it's looking bleak. If this is a sign of things to come, it's not a very good sign.
Yeah. I think as fans, okay, this is what Ashik says. I think as fans, we are not used to being patient. Either we should be patient and let this new system take shape. There will be bad days during this transition. And he agrees with you, Kanishk, in saying that we are a team in transition. We tend to forget that with a few good games, Rome wasn't built in a day. We'll take some time, and I believe we are ahead of the curve
Look, we,
actually.
we, we have been very good this season. Let's not make
Mm.
any mistake about it. We've had multiple good runs of games this season. But just when it is coming to a big clash, and I mean, as Real Madrid in La Liga, you
And that's
are
the most unreal Madrid feature that we have. We've gone seasons where we've been poor, but we've won big games, right?
big games. Exactly. And this even happened last season. We lost to AC Milan, to Liverpool, and
Mm.
to Arsenal, man. Come on. And we won against the smaller, or like the relatively easier opposition. But this is yeah. I mean, I think we're losing that comeback touch also. That just hunger to just get a goal, like just somehow get a goal in a match. I think
Yeah.
call it team transition. I mean, look, we've won Champions Leagues in transition, so I don't mind a transition period. But from what I see, yeah, I think that big game mentality needs to be there, and this takes me
Yeah.
back to Ned's point and Farouk's point, and of course you've also said it, and even I've
Mm.
said it, that we lack leaders, man, in the team. We lack strong mentalities in the team.
Yeah, and as far as individuals goes, not everybody,
Yeah,
that is our best players, knows either the best positions that they're playing in or isn't just in the best of forms right now. Like
Fernando.
Fede Valverde keeps playing out of position. Jude, we don't know what his position is going to be going forward. He hasn't played the most consistent minutes from the very beginning of the season, owing to his injury troubles.
My mind was
Vinny is
thinking
just
that,
a head
if
loss.
a Ramos in this match,
Yeah.
or like a Pepe, or like even a fully fit Carvajal, man, for that matter, or like a
Oh,
Cruz in midfield, or like a Modric in midfield. Those leaders. You're like, okay, it's fine. We are not at our best right now, but even when we are not at our best, we have the ability to go and score a goal at Anfield or any other stadium in the world, and maybe get a result out of this game. Just not drop your shoulders and look negative about it. So I think that
mhm.
mentality is definitely lacking. But yeah, I think that is something that players build with time. So it's just a
Yeah.
waiting game.
And he goes on by saying that it's not just about the players learning to play Shabby's way. It's also Shabby learning to play and work with the players. That's part of his man management that really needs to it needs some working on, and I think that's clearly visible with the amount of players that have been either lashing out in public, during games. The body language is just not that of um, an authoritative dressing room.
Absolutely,
Um,
cannot
yeah,
cannot put it better.
yeah. Random guy says that get the win and 3 points. We all do hope so. I will give Shabby one full season. There will be moments like this, like Atleti and Liverpool. It's fine with results like this if we are achieving bigger success in the long term.
Once the season
That
is
is
over,
the concern.
twice
Yeah.
in 1 month, like that's kind of
Mm.
concerning.
Yeah, that is the concern, right? Like, come at the end of the season, if we look back and we've missed out on a few trophies because of purely because of games like this, then it's gonna hurt because
Absolutely.
we're not used to losing the big games. It's
Also,
not.
football is such a result-oriented game, and
Mm.
Madrid is such a result-obsessed club that no matter what, nobody's then going to talk about the positives, and how Goulet stepped up and how
Yeah, or
Christian
Mbappe won a golden boot and whatnot, right?
he won the
It's
Golden
gonna
Boot.
be insignificant.
Do we remember last season fondly? Absolutely not. We did still win two trophies, but come on, let's be honest. Those are not mainstream trophies. I mean, I don't know when is the next Intercontinental Cup even going to be.
Yeah,
So even in those seasons, no matter how hard you work, it kind of takes away from your hard work. That I mean, you're not winning any trophy, and it is coming down to those big matches. And I hope like the team kind of finds a mentality. It's not a performance issue. Let's be very honest. It's an off game. Anyone can have an off game. I think it's
it's a
more to do with
mentality issue, right?
I think you probably need a conditioning coach, a mental strength and conditioning coach to come in right now and just remind the players what club they are playing for. You see, this has happened with United so many times. I mean, there have been players
I
who,
mean,
fortunately, I
in
mean, no,
fact,
no, I'm not comparing,
United
but
just United probably just ring the phone to Sir Alex and have him give a speech to the
Yeah,
players.
you need to
Um,
value what you're playing. You need to have that value for the shirt. Mr. Bernabeu or Mr. Paco Hento once said that this shirt can stain of blood, sweat, tears, mud, everything, but it cannot, like,
Not of
you know,
shame.
not of shame. Thank you. I mean, it was a shameful performance. I think, just play for the badge, play for the club, know which club you are playing for, what's demanded at that level, and I think get that thing back in your head. And there are players in the team who've been part of these Champions League winning squads, so I think they will very well
Yeah.
know what it kind of takes.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. But yeah, moving on. I think the starting lineup for tomorrow's fixture. It's actually an early kickoff, which I don't know how many fans like the early kickoff,
Madrid.
but I think for people in the subcontinent, they'll be able to go and sleep much
Yeah.
earlier tomorrow.
It's a Sunday
Um,
night, so
Cozy. But
yeah.
yeah, what's going to be your? I see we're also releasing our starting lineups 2 hours before kickoff these days.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I
what
don't
is
know.
going to be our starting lineup?
Spoke multiple times. Why do we even guess? Can anyone guess the full 11 correctly of a Xavi Alonso 11? But I mean, yeah, of course, Courtois in goal. I do see Trent coming back as right back.
I
Please,
do as well.
like,
Yeah, it's the
let
right game
Trent
to ease him into the 11, right?
back. There is no right or wrong game, man. He has to come in at some point, no? So
No,
if
just
Fede,
regarding his regarding his fitness, like I wouldn't ease him back in a game that's against Getafe.
yeah,
As
fair.
physical as that game or as Atleti, and also it's going to be good respite, good relief for Fede Valverde, who
Of course,
might
yeah,
get
yeah.
to play in his natural position.
Trent, uh, Huijsen, Militao, and Carreras. I think Carreras is another name I can just, before the match, just kind of guarantee that he's going to start at left back. I think he's earning that slowly.
Yeah,
Fantastic performance in the last two matches. Really showed up for the club when it was needed the most. I think Bellingham, Chouameni is out, so Camavinga is natural replacement with Valverde. I play Guler on the right wing, the right side, Mbappe, and I think Rodrigo for this match. I really want to see him get some solid playing time. So that's my 11.
no, fair enough. I mean, Chouameni's injury really does not help the midfield equation because that midfield was really looking solid and well balanced to a certain degree. Um,
Camavinga's a national like for Chouameni. I think he can
No,
play
I
CDM.
wouldn't say he's a natural like to like. He can slot into that position.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
he did play CDM, right? As
yes, but
Chouameni.
he's a different kind of defensive
Yeah,
midfielder. He's more
he's
of
a
a
ball.
he's
In
more
CDM.
yeah, a ball carrier, someone who'll slide into tackles. Germany does it more with his
But it's not
positioning.
a complete mismatch as well, like a Fede Valverde to right back. I mean, it's
No,
still a
absolutely not. Yeah,
he's played before, learned before. So I think
yeah.
Camavinga, Bellingham, and Valverde. That's still a very good midfield. With maybe Guler in front of them, or maybe on the right, and then Rodrigo and Mbappe, or maybe
Okay, fair enough.
for just for fun, maybe Gonzalo and Mbappe this match. Why not? Why not try it?
Uh, a man can dream, but realistically, us Real Madrid fans know that Gonzalo is not starting a game right now, exception of Copa del Rey or
What did you change in
something like
this match?
that. I honestly, I wouldn't change anything. Did you include Guller and Bellingham?
Yeah,
All right, yeah. I don't think I would change anything. Mastantuono is out, so Rodrigo, I would start Rodrigo. I would play Mbappe and Vinny. I also agree that he needs a run of games on the bench or off the bench, that I should say.
yeah,
Um, yeah. Ashik says, and the end of the match is going to overlap with the Brazilian Grand Prix. Yeah, I don't like the early kickoff. I mean, uh, we can try and be picky, but I think sleep is a lot more
yeah.
quintessential for fans in the
Especially
subcontinent.
at night for a hectic work week, so
Mm,
you need your
mm.
sleep. Cool then.
Yeah. What are your predictions, Kanishk?
I'd probably go for like a 3-0 Real Madrid win.
Mm, okay. I mean, solid. I would hope that the defense and Thibaut Courtois specifically don't have too much to do. I'd also hope that we don't have any more injuries, especially in defense. Um,
Yeah, we can't
Especially
afford
to
more.
players you cannot replace, right? You cannot replace a Kylian Mbappe right now. No, regardless of how much you want Gonzalo Garcia to play, he's not a long he's not a replacement.
let's not even put it out in the universe.
No, yeah. So I'm just saying that I hope we don't lose any more players, because after Chouameni's injury, after Carvajal and all of them are out, our squad is starting to look bleak right now. Ashik also has a bold prediction: 6-0 Real Madrid, Mbappe hat-trick. I would actually go for a 2-0 win, because, like I mentioned before, Rayo Vallecano play their hearts out when they play in front of their home fans. As can be said about most La
That
Liga
should
teams, even
that
from
should
the second tier, even teams that come from the second tier, they're very well-knit communities. And the fans and the players alike give it everything when a Real Madrid or a Barcelona come visit. So I wouldn't be surprised actually if they come out, with blazing guns and actually have us on the back foot for a minute or two. Um, but yeah, I think, folks, that's pretty much it. I just want to cover up some of the housekeeping that Sunil would usually do. It just slipped out of my mind. 36 minutes in. So yeah, big up Talksport firstly. It is the biggest sports radio station in the world. Let's Be Real is also part of the Talksport Fan Network, and it is, yeah, we're incredibly delighted to be partnered by Talksport. And also Fanatics. Fanatics have been here for a while now. They're also official partners of both La Liga and Real Madrid. You'll see them on the sidelines of our matches, depending on where you're watching the game from. It's an incredible catalog of sports merchandise and Real Madrid related clothing as well. So you can use the affiliated link for Fanatics, and it will be mentioned in our description. But yeah, folks, I think this is going to be us for this match. And yeah, Kanishk says a 3-0 victory. I say 2-0. I'm less optimistic about our
sign off by
chances.
Hala
Yeah,
Madrid.
yeah, we just sign off by saying Hello Madrid, guys.
Hala Madrid. Cool. See you, Sign. Are we done?